Good evening, everybody.
You didn't touch it.
Like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, October 14th, 2014. We have a village board meeting. It will be followed by a committee of the whole meeting as well. The time looks like it's 7:05 p.m. We have our Boy Scout troop from Westchester here this evening. I believe they're going to be presenting the colors and also doing some patriotic music as well. So I would believe at this point in time, everybody stand while the colors are being posted.
Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Can you please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And may you please remain standing for the flying of America the Beautiful. Color guard, post the colors. Color guard return to rank, and everyone may be seated.
I'd like Mr. Ed Coliani Sr., why don't you step up to the microphone, please, and introduce Troop 1 to us, please.
Good evening. I'm Ed Coliani. I'm the chartered organization rep for Troop 1, which is chartered by the parent-teacher organization at the Westchester Middle School. We meet weekly on Wednesdays. We're actually meeting at the primary school this year because the schedule worked out a little bit better. Our scouts today, our caller was my son, Eddie Coliani. Our bugler was...
Please stand when your name is called.
Our bugler is Aiden Walton. Aiden is our first Eagle Scout. He made Eagle on June 27th. Carrying the American flag was Damian Massey. Carrying the state flag was Montana Jones. And carrying the village flag was Anthony Lumsden. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, everybody. Okay, you're not done yet, Edward. You're not done. Should know that. I know there's a bunch of parents that certainly support Troop 1 in Westchester in all the endeavors. I saw a bunch of them working at the environmental collection the other day, so if you wouldn't mind introducing them, and they can stand as well.
Sure. Actually, the troop has grown significantly in the year and a half since we started. We have 19 scouts right now, which is probably bigger than the average troop in the council, and we're only a year and a half old. So let's see, we have Montana's mom, Michelle Jones. Eddie's mom, Gail Coliani. Aiden's mom, Leah Walton. And we have Shannon Suttles, who's Damien's mom, and Dan Lumsden, who is Anthony's dad.
Great.
Can I finish now?
Thank you. I see we have some other people as well in the audience. I think our next go-round is a big thank you from the Village of Westchester and all the trustees for all the help of the environmental sustainability and the things that the troop does and others as well in collecting the electronics and other programs that we have on a volunteer basis. That's a good thing. The next best thing is that none of the volunteers have been hurt as yet, which is always a good thing as well. And we certainly welcome and thank you for all the stuff that you've done over the course of the year and continue to do. What I'd like to do is call on Carl Celestino. If you please step up to the microphone. You're no stranger to that. Oh, okay. So, if you can just hold on for 1 second, the village attorney admonished me that we should probably call the roll first. So, Shirley, please call the roll.
Trustee Calcagno.
Present.
Trustee Guttuso is absent. Trustee Perry.
Present.
Trustee Rita.
Present.
Trustee Stecker.
Present.
Trustee Yorkovich.
Present.
President Kulick.
Present. So now we do have a meeting of sorts. Carl, I know your sustainability committee is working very hard to keep Westchester on the forefront and the cutting edge of recycling and being the best green community in the western suburbs and that. And I know that a few of your members are here, if you would like to introduce them as well.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We have last time to get a frog in my throat.
It was all the food you just ate.
Yes, it was. Sorry. We have Miss Jean Clotter, one of our founding members, and Miss Ali Rothbaum are here. We had a few other members, but unfortunately they couldn't attend. But these two ladies are pivotal to our organization, and they've been very helpful. And I wanted to say to you, Vice President Prulia, as well as the board, I want to say thank you for all the help that you have done throughout the year with our commission, as well as I'd like to give thanks to all the staff members of the Village of Westchester who have always been very helpful in getting the word out and helping us whatever we need. And including tonight, I'd also give thanks to the fire department, Chief Adams, and the fire department for hosting this dinner for all the volunteers. And finally, I'd like to give a special thanks to the person that provided the dinner for us, a Westchester institution, Paul's Pizza. I'd like to say thank you to Trustee Paul Catuzzo for that. It was really nice, and I appreciate it. And I know everybody had a really nice time. We did a lot of good things, and this commission, when we came from the Green Committee and turned it into this commission with your approval, we wanted to be a force to be able to do things for the community and with the community. And it's because of this we have these events have been so successful. And it is a lot of hard work. If you just look back and see how many televisions are back there, not only that, but those containers are full of a lot of equipment, and I can only imagine how many tens of thousands of pounds that we collected this year. And if it wasn't for the help of all these volunteers, the Boy Scouts, troops, as well as other members from the community, families, we've had families come, we've had students come to help out, and it's always been a great event. And being able to, especially, like I said, it's always been something like, what do you need us to do, what can we do, and how can we help out? And it's been great, and it's made these events very successful. And it has kept a lot of us from being injured. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for this. And it's something we as the commission want to continue to do and hopefully expand it to other aspects. So it's, like I said, we enjoy doing this, and we are providing a service to this community, and we want to continue to provide the service for the community. So thank you all very much. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Carl, but stay there. Angelo Calcagno is the trustee that is the liaison from the Environmental Committee to the board. He's recovering from some surgery, but he was out there helping this past Saturday with the shredding aspect and the food collection and other things that we've been doing along with the community. We do have some certificates for the people that, some are here, I would imagine some are not here based on that. But what I'd like to do is, if Angela would join me up in front with Carl, we can hand these things out, okay?
Absolutely. So when I read your name, please come up here. And if not, we will make sure these certificates get to the right people. Liam Patrick? Aiden Walton?
Yeah, that was really good, actually. Butchered. Good one.
What?
Does Mike get a hold?
The three bears, where's the third chair?
If it's
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I might try that.
You're right, that's true.
That was better. Frank, where's yours?
I
I
like
just
that.
want some
No, I mean, where's
samples.
yours? Only 2 samples.
That's all we can afford this
There's two
budget
different
season.
10 minutes, he's got to switch with you.
Oh, good. The meeting should, in theory, go quickly. More support.
Trevor Troy. Cordelis Anesha. Andy Massey. Oh, you forgot about me. Maurice Walker. Have a nice round of applause for everybody. Again, on behalf of everybody that's behind me and myself and all of those people that reside in Westchester, for your help. Couldn't do it without you. And you're certainly an asset to Westchester, certainly as a troop one, and goals that you're going to achieve later on in life as a great citizen.
Any other presentations for this evening?
No.
Okay, item 5, public comments and questions. If anyone would like to ask a question of us, may not have the answer, but we'll give it a whirl. Please step up to the microphone, indicate your name for our clerk so we can put it in our minutes, and we'll go from there. Anybody going? Oh, here we go. Our League of Women Voter President and Environmental Sustainability Member.
Jean Clatter, 1920 Norfolk. I've been reading this in the newspaper, and I've become aware of a lot of people in Westchester who are kind of anxious to possibly run for various offices in town. And I saw another village, another school district is actually in LaGrange, is going to be having a session for the general population on what you need to do to become a school board member or a village trustee, what's involved in it, people talking to people. So I don't think we've ever done that in Westchester before, and I thought if you just put it in your memory bank the next time we're coming close to people filing for candidacy for trustees or anything, that it might be kind of useful to the general public to kind of thinking about it, get more people involved.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else? It's your chance. We scared everybody away.
Yeah. Yep, I think we scared them all
Once,
away.
twice,
All right.
3 times. Okay. We don't have any public hearings, I don't believe.
No, we do not.
Under item 7, we have approval of record of bills ending 10/9/2014, $1,172,723.48. Approval of minutes of September 23rd, board, committee, executive, department reports. Resolution authorizing the purchase of an overhead sprayer system from Linco. And Jessica, resolution appointing her as village deputy clerk. And open meeting act compliance officer. And also, this is Jessica Knight, Freedom of Information Act Officer for the Village of Westchester. Is there a motion and a second for the approval?
So moved.
Second.
Tom, I'm sorry, Nick?
Sure.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
with regard to item D, they contract with Linco Equipment Sales for the purchase of an overhead sprayer system is in the amount of $9,998. Just to inform the public pursuant to the Open Meetings Act. Thank you.
Okay, with the added dollar amount to comply with the rules, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Sherby, roll call, please.
Trustee Calhoun.
Aye.
Trustee Perry.
Aye.
Trustee Rita.
Aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
Trustee Yocum.
Aye.
President Pouliot.
Aye, motion carries. I believe we need to swear in Miss Jessica as the Deputy Village Clerk. Come on up. Front there. And I guess the question of the day, Sherby, you did want her, right? Okay.
Rejoin at the hip.
Because technically it's her
It's your
recommendation.
appointment, yeah.
So, all right. I guess I should ask that first, right? Okay. I made that assumption. Okay, item number 8, active agenda. Resolution approving change order number 4 for the paving component of the 2014 street improvement program. Is there a motion?
Motion to waive the cow requirement?
Okay. We need a motion to waive.
So moved. Second.
Nick and Frank. Roll call, please.
Trustee Perry.
Aye.
Trustee Rita.
Aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
Trustee Yocum.
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun.
Aye.
President Pouliot.
Aye. Now, a motion and a second for the approval of that.
Motion.
Second.
Celeste? And I'm sorry, Frankie? Any discussion relative to that?
Once again, for the purpose of the Open Meetings Act, that change orders in the amount of $150,126.78.
I guess one of the questions that I have on the discussion aspect of this is, I do understand that this is necessary as a result of the work that was being done that was unforeseen underneath the ground, that was no base for the street, and of course we don't want to put a new street on a bad base. It's pretty much a waste of time, and I know there's some sewer laterals that were closer than anticipated that were in need of repair as well, that we're fixing those things so we don't have to dig up the street in another year because of a problem with those laterals and that. I guess in the future, I would have, I don't know if we did core samples or didn't do enough of them or whatever, but I think in the future we need to make sure that the correct amount of core samples are being done and that we find out about this ahead of time. I know they weren't, and I don't think you were in the game when this had transpired and we got our information. But in the future, I want to make sure that these things are done ahead of time. And, I know we're going to get surprises. That's part of the deal. But, $150,000 surprise is is something that I would hope to avoid. So, based on that, there's a motion and a second for the approval on the resolution. And if there are no other questions, board, Sherby, please call the roll.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calpagno?
Aye.
President Lee?
Aye, motion carries.
Trustee Rita? Aye. Trustee Rita? Aye.
Here we go.
I'm going to swear you in as a
Left.
deputy clerk now.
She's already have one clerk position.
I know that.
It's quite expansive. Okay, item number B, resolution of the Village of Westchester authorizing the adoption of the Cook County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan.
This also needs a motion to waive the committee of the whole requirement.
Is
So moved.
there-
Second.
Nick, Angelo, roll call.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calpagno?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
President Lee?
Aye, motion carries. And now for the approval, is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Frank and Celeste. Commentary, we have Westchester has its own hazard mitigation plan. The county needed to adopt this, so all the municipalities that participated could be able to get some federal assistance through the state of Illinois in the event that there is a designated hazard. Hopefully we won't have one, but you never know. I was part of this, putting this plan together with Janet and Melissa as far as our annex piece of this. We need to get this approval to the Cook County Authority in the hazard mitigation, homeland security piece. Get that back as quickly as possible. There's about 115 towns that are part of this. This plan has been adopted by the Cook County Board on September the 10th and also has FEMA approval as well. So with that, it was an interesting go-around down at the county building for the meetings that we had started almost a year ago. And I want to thank everybody for their participation in this. This is only going to make the whole of Cook County stronger, and not just the town of Westchester, but regionally as well, as we look for some funding in the event that we have a hazard. So, Frank and Celeste, the motion's on the floor. If there's no other commentary, Sherby, please call the roll.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkovich?
Aye.
Trustee Calpagno?
Aye.
Trustee Perry?
Aye.
President Lee?
Aye, motion carries.
President Pulia, I just want to point out that we've only attached the cover page of Volume 1. This resolution adopts both Volume 1, which is the planning for the area-wide, and then it also adopts Chapter 110, which is specific to Westchester. Chapter 110, you have all of it here, but if you need to see whatever's in Volume 1, or if you're curious as to the other 109 municipalities listed above Westchester and 3 or 4 behind us, there's a website you can go on, and the manager's office can provide you with that website. But we felt that the critical information regarding Westchester, we'd reproduce that and have that for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. Manager's report. Janet?
Okay, just one thing of note this week, I'm pleased to announce for the record that we've been informed that the village has been awarded a $350,000 grant from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. Scope of the project includes full-depth asphalt reconstruction of the access roads and parking lots of the Village of Westchester Municipal Complex. I'd like to thank Robert Lewis in assisting me with the completion of the grant survey. This project will be phased over a 2-year period. Project design and engineering will be performed by the end of the fiscal year, April 30, 15. And there will be 2 construction phases next spring and summer. Police and fire access drives will be phase 1, and Municipal Drive and the post office parking lot will be phase 2. The Public Works parking lot will be the third phase, and will be scheduled for spring of 2016. So we will be building in the village share of costs into our capital improvement plan, which Robert is currently working on in anticipation of upcoming budgeting discussions. That's all I have for this evening.
Okay, board members, Frankie.
Our EDC meeting was postponed till next week due to lack of quorum. So we will be meeting on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m.
Thank you. Nikki?
Police and Fire Commission meeting was Thursday of last week. They had the pool of police candidates. There was, I think, Chief, what do you think, was there about 90 people or something that passed? 92 that passed, so they were trying to figure out, how are they gonna do 92 interviews or what they're gonna do. So I think they scheduled some dates to do the interviews, and hopefully that should be done within the next month. Lieutenant's exam for the fire department, they got all the scores in. They were gonna be tallied up, and they should be posted by the end of this week. That would be the preliminary list. So those are the two highlights.
Thanks.
About it.
Celestine, anything?
I brought in 2 chairs for the board to sample. Nick's hoarding his, if he likes. So try those out. I met with the furniture guy.
Thank you. Angelo?
Other than the events that happened this weekend, really nothing else, but Saturday went very well. Electronics, recycling, shredding, was just a little under what we did last year, and the food drive went well too. I think we took in about, that green toad probably took in about maybe between 10 to 12 of those full of food, so, yeah. It went very well. Everything went smooth, weather cooperated. So that was our last event of the year. And now we're just going to start working on the spring event like we did at the beginning of this year with the thing we did at the school over there. Just kind of do another informational kind of meeting / seminar for the residents. So,
Flood mitigation, hazard
Yeah.
mitigation stuff.
yeah.
Good. We'll have our report as well in our annex and things.
That's it.
Tommy? anything?
We're gonna Cab's gonna start collecting for the food drive that they normally do starting in November, and Toys for Tots is gonna start in November as well.
You doing Toys for Tots again?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know at one of the meetings we were having some consideration of possibly, I'm understanding you may have lost some members to the cab, that you were
Correct.
thinking about a combination.
Right. We actually, I attended the environmental meeting on Thursday, and we're gonna have a joint meeting in November for all both boards to discuss it.
We unfortunately had a lack of participation Thursday, so there was no quorum. So we've been kind of mulling it over, trying to get, maybe combine both committees. There's about 2 or 3 people from each committee that we know that consistently participate, show up, or are willing to, do stuff, So our 2 committees kind of have the same mission, the same goals. So we figured it might be easier and better for us to just combine the 2.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Let's see, Chief Carpino.
Few things here. If you noticed on the way in, there's a squad car parked at the side entrance here. It's the 4th car that was delivered. It's the vehicle that was courtesy of the Cook County Homeland Security. They're going to reimburse us $26,000 of the $27,000. I offered to put a notice pretty much displayed on the vehicle, like courtesy of Cook County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. They put the brakes on it right now. They said they're concerned that all these other police departments are going to be calling, wanting to know why they didn't get a car. So they said they'll get back to us with something else possibly that would be more appropriate to put on the car. They asked us for right now that they appreciate it, but they just would rather come up with some other alternative wording. So they're just concerned that, whoever didn't apply for the grant or whoever would call and say, you know, how can we get a free car? They just didn't want to be inundated with phone calls. So we're waiting for them to get back. But the car is here, and it's called Shadow Graphics. So you'll notice the car looks completely dark, and then if the daylight, sunlight, or headlights hit the car, it lights up like a Christmas tree. So it's the fourth car to be put in service probably within about 2 weeks. So I'll take a look at it when you go out the side door. Irma was here today. The last time they were here for an inspection of our policies and our proactive safety measures was 3 years ago, and they'll be here again in 3 years. They'll be here for the next 2 days. Well, throughout, they were here today, they'll be here tomorrow. The meeting with all the department heads and going over their past practices, current practices. The last score that the police department had 3 years ago was 86. Today we received a score of 93. So it's a substantial jump. So, but it's been a lot of hard work from all the employees, everyone been very dedicated to this, and things we're doing at roll call and staff meetings and being more proactive. It helped all the way around. So the next time this will be visited is 3 years for the police department. In the last few weeks, myself, Lieutenant O'Hagan, and Janet, we met with Robert Fritsch of the school district. They came to us with a concern about vehicles going around the stop arm on the school buses. So there was a vendor that they had spoken with regarding photo enforcement, which is new in Illinois. You could take a photo like you do red light cameras for red light violations, mail a violation to the violator, and then there's an agreement that has to be signed with the school district, the village, and this vendor. I don't know if it's that big of a volume of a concern to go with a vendor at this point. We offer to do some independent stings. Our resource officer has been riding the buses in the morning and in the afternoon as time allows. Now we have a chase car that follows the vehicle. We've already issued 2 citations. And it's a serious violation. You could have your license suspended, and it's a serious fine. By going to Maybrook Court, more than likely they'll reduce it. They won't have their license suspended. They'll pay a heavy fine. We'll have to have our officer in court, which they're there anyways. So we have a patrol officer that wrote the tickets, independent of the observations made by Officer Verber. I did speak with the one vendor. They have no programs currently on the ground anywhere in the immediate area. Spoke to another vendor that the village used to do business with for photo enforcement. They do have a program in the Chicagoland area that they're going to be doing photo enforcement with. In a week from now, I'll be down at the International Chiefs Conference in Orlando, Florida. I received something today in the mail of another vendor that's getting into photo enforcement of the stop bar violations for school buses. So I think at one point the village may want to consider with the school district going into a program for photo enforcement. However, we're collecting data. All the drivers of all the routes have sheets that they're going to document the violators for the ones that we're not physically there for, and we're going to send courtesy letters out to the violators. Basically, you violated the stop arm. Any future violations could result in a citation being issued, which is labor intensive because then the school bus driver will have to identify the driver of the car. They'll have to go to court and be taken off their bus routes. So we're trying to implement a program locally as we can with these things. They seem to be very receptive, the school district, very happy. And I think if we monitor how many violations they actually have, I don't think the problem is that severe. So we're working with the school district, very happy with the results that we're gathering this information. We will continue with these things as the manpower allows. So, and if I find anything of any value to bring back to the village and to talk to the school district about this photo enforcement program, it's something new in Illinois, just started this year. So there's no real data to show how well the program is working. So, but I'll get back to you in the future on any discussions on photo enforcement. I did receive a phone call or an email last week from Arden Realty from the corporate center. They're concerned about vehicles that are not obeying the stop signs that are on their property, especially near their KinderCare center. I explained to them the only way we can get involved and do any kind of enforcement is through the Illinois Motor Vehicle Code that allows for an agreement to be signed that would last for 20 years between the village and the property owners, and allowing us to enforce fire lanes, any other kind of parking violations we wanted to work with them with the building department, the fire department. And we could enforce the stop signs if they would get regulation stop signs as prescribed by the Illinois Motor Vehicle Code. And we could spend time on their private property and enforce stop sign violations. But that's after they've signed a document that would have to be reviewed by our village attorney. I'm sure they're very familiar with the program because in the past, I worked for a city that did have parking agreements with some of the 30 office parks within the city. And Storino, Romello, and Durkin represented us and had detailed parking agreements with these private property owners. Not that we want to get in the business of writing tickets on private property, but they came to us with a concern now. I told them maybe consider posting notices in the elevators and with the tenants of the building, and possibly put some kind of traffic calming devices within their properties right before the stop sign approaches to slow the cars down before they get to the stop sign. And she said she was going to discuss it with their legal staff to see if they thought it was worthy to come back to me, to come to the village board and say, and bring them here, of course, and say, we'd like to consider getting an agreement for parking. At any time, they could rescind it, from what I understand, but normally they go on, and I'm sure the attorney could tell us more. They're a 20-year agreement. And from what I found out, the past history of the town, we have no current parking agreements anywhere in the village, other than an ordinance with a townhome subdivision on the south end of town that I came to you with last year to enforce the street parking because of the Pulte subdivision. We reinstituted their ordinance that was kind of fell off the books. It's the only other ordinance I could think of that I know of that we do some kind of enforcement. And one last thing, the trustee Stecker alluded to the 92 applicants that passed out of 160. I have a disclaimer to make. There's a Carpino that passed the test. I have no relation, no knowledge who he is. So if you see the name in the process, got no clue. I know he's not my son. That's that.
You sure?
No. That's my story. I'm thinking with. Let's see. So that's Irma. I haven't seen him. School district.
Might support my brother.
Okay. With that, that's all I have to offer tonight.
Thanks, Chief.
Oh, we have attended the Columbus Day Parade, of course, with the mayor and 2 other officers from Italian American descent, and a good time was had at the Columbus Day Parade yesterday.
Great. And also November 8th.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. November 8th. I am the man of the year for the Italian American Police Association. So I've accepted the award. Normally 400 to 500 people attend. There'll be an officer of the year and a man of the year. The officer of the year, I believe, is a female Chicago police officer that was in a gun battle. And I've been a member of the Italian American Police Association for almost 40 years. And it's an honor that me honored. So that's it.
Well deserved.
Okay. But I'm half Austrian, too. My mother would want me to make sure I said that. So I'm not getting any Austrian awards, but I should try. And the Chicago police sergeant told me he'll be there for sure because it's probably the last award I'll be receiving in the law enforcement career that I've had. So I told me I really appreciate that. So vote of confidence. All right. Pass it on to
Thank you.
Fire Lieutenant.
Travis, I know you're subbing for Jimmy, who's at a conference as well.
Can everybody hear me? Do I have to use this? Or? Okay.
Just so it picks up on a microphone right back here.
Hello all, my name's Travis. I'm a lieutenant on the fire department. Chief Adams apologizes. He's at the Illinois Fire Chiefs Conference. He'll be gone until, I believe it's tomorrow. I got some notes here he left me and some things I could bring up. The chief is receiving a $1,000 scholarship today going towards his degree. This is the second one he's received from the Fire Chiefs Association. He's also receiving his Fire Chief Officer designation, which is, I believe is the highest designation that you can get in the state of Illinois as a fire chief. Like I said, he'll be back tomorrow and back in town. We just recently sent our squad Rescue 25 to the village of Downers Grove for their silent parade. It honors all firemen who have given the ultimate sacrifice in losing their life. Anybody who came to our open house on October 5th, thank you very much. It was a big success. With the painting of the water tower, we couldn't do any of our burns or stuff that we normally do with props, but a lot of people came out. A few people in the room came out, and thank you. It turned out great. And briefly, we've been going over stuff with the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and we've been going over stuff with Loyola about the Ebola scare that's going on right now, not just a scare, something actually happening. Our chief is the point man. He deals with Dr. Sishan at Loyola, who is their in charge of emergency medicine. I believe there's 2 updates a week that we get from them. We're working very closely with the other towns around on how to isolate and protect ourselves and the patient if something does actually occur in our area here. And we have a little thing I could pass around to you guys. I don't know if you guys want to take a look at it, but it's basic information on Ebola, and it is also how to protect ourselves and give the best proper care we can to the patient before they get to the hospital. That's it. You guys have any questions about that?
Well, speaking about that, just before I came to the meeting, there was an update with the nurse from Texas and that kind of stuff. And also a company, I believe in Illinois, called Medline that are supplying certain gownages to different hospitals and that. I don't want to say I don't have any faith or wherewithal with the CDC and stuff, but I don't want to be caught short and said we coulda, shoulda, woulda, as this pretty much evolves. They showed it 1 drop of blood on a slide and said, 1 million, and they said 1 drop of this Ebola blood is 10 million. It's tenfold the potency of whatever. So what I'm suggesting that we do is a pre-op for not only fire personnel, but police personnel, is a total review, whether it's classroom or otherwise, for PPE. I know on the police side, we go on the blue line and we take a test about personal protective equipment and that. But I would like to see, at a minimal, that we order some face shields and full suits. I know you may have some in the fire department.
Well, we got some stuff initially, and I don't know, Trustee Stecker, I don't know if you guys are doing anything different out in Franklin Park, but I know that Captain Levita is working now with some of the EMS guys on ordering extra stuff, gowns and fully enclosed suits, stuff along those lines that we would never normally have.
I know you guys already have you guys don't grab the gloves from the hospital. You guys order
we order
better ones, and
yeah,
these guys have better.
Yeah,
have had better
we get
stuff.
stuff from the hospital, but we try to go above and beyond, like the gloves,
Yeah.
things like that. So we do have some extra stuff, but in the last month, since this is becoming a real issue, I know Captain Levita has been looking into, like I said, some of the enclosure suits, some of those things that when we get there, if we know something's going on, that all of us are protected first.
I mean, that is definitely my concern.
Yeah.
That not only the fire department, but police officers, anytime there's blood involved or fluid, and, the nurse was protected. And I'm sure what it's ultimately going to come out of, and I have no great knowledge of it, is there may have been the way the gown was taken off caused a contamination or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, we need to know.
From what I understand, she was fully protected too.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't know. They got her dog in quarantine right now. So, again, with all of that, I want to make sure that our first responders are overly protected. I'd rather say, geez, we've done these 6 steps, and a week from now they're going to say, oh, there's actually 10 things we should do, but at least we've been doing 6. I mean, it's so of an unknown right now, but if anyone's ever seen that movie Outbreak, this is the exact same thing as Dustin Hoffman did in Outbreak. And it's not something to be taken lightly, and I want to make sure that our professionals have everything they need, even at an advanced cost. Guess what? We're paying 3 times the amount for salt for winter. Guess what? Personal protection of our staff is paramount, and then obviously the people that we serve in a protection. And my big fear too is you may get somebody, and now what do you do with your ambulance? Do you put it on a bus? Do you open a door and you throw a grenade in there, and and it kills every bacteria? And what I mean, I don't know. These are all these things that are starting.
There's a protocol now where, the vehicle has to be immediately taken out of service and stuff like that.
There is a protocol for this. I have here, and what I'm passing around is our personal algorithm for the medical portion of it, how we would treat a patient, how we would protect ourselves.
Yeah.
But once there is an actual case of Ebola, or say we, come in contact, or a town here does, like Trustee Stecker was saying, there is protocol that we go through, get rid of the rig,
Yeah.
get that checked out.
So
get all
the members are placed on administrative leave
Yes.
immediately, and
Yeah.
they're all,
Well,
yeah, there's
this,
a
this is
protocol.
my fear. I don't want to be the last guy standing when it coulda, shoulda, woulda. I mean, they're second guessing the hell out of the Texas Presbyterian Hospital of what they did right, what they did wrong, or whatever. I want to be on the cutting edge of this. And Mike just indicated to me, do we all know how to put on personal protective equipment? Do you know how to take it off? Is somebody doing a check off that you've done it properly, even, without a system? I mean, you still have HIV out there that needs personal protection equipment, and any body fluid out there. I mean, we're to assume that anytime you go to a house, forget about Ebola, that they got HIV. You got blood, you got serum, you got any liquid, somebody sneezes on you, whatever. They found the AIDS virus in dried blood 14 days later. The FBI did. I have all the studies that go back 30 years ago. This is in its infancy, and there's a lot of unknowns, that there's a lot of guesswork out there. And I want to make sure that we are all over the top in our preparation for this. Because I don't want you or the chief or anybody in this village that we're employing and who we deal with to get this. And I think it's money well spent, even if you never use it or nobody ever gets it. We got it.
Yeah.
And-
I can't speak for.
It's common.
Yeah.
I can't speak for Chief Adams, but I'm sure that he wouldn't mind working with Chief Carpino or any of the board members on setting up something, an awareness of some sort at the firehouse where we could go over personal protective gear and
Well,
equipment
let's
and anything at all. Chief Adams is very good with jumping on the preventive
Well-
side of things. So
I want it yesterday.
Like I showed you when you were out of town, we had Homeland Security was sending information on what the signs and symptoms are. We were just disseminating that information. It's similar to when the anthrax scare came out. I moved all the anthrax from the Paris to right across the street to the state crime line, and then I was ran to Roosevelt Road with the public health department because I didn't want we were double bagging it, and I didn't want any other officer to be exposed to it. I took the oldest car we had, knowing if we had to junk the car, we junked the car, we stored it all outside. We were doing the best we could with what we had at the time. There was no measuring meters, there was no way to detect if it was anthrax or not. I pulled all the newspaper stands out of town, where I had the Times and Sun, took all the big boxes out of the city. We did a lot of things to try to be on top of it.
Well, I just think it's notable that we're jumping on it, we're talking about it. I want the staffs of both departments to know that obviously the support from the board is there to do these things. And their protection of them and what they bring home to their family. You got a 21-day incubation period. 21 days is a lifetime, with this kind of stuff. So-
Is there any protocols in place for notifying, say something happens there, there's a case, pops up here, notifying residents or do you, how do you go about doing that or?
Well, we would have,
Without-
I'm not speaking for the chief, but we certainly have our Code Red program, just like they did in Texas, the area that the nurse may have been exposed or had some dealings with. They segregated that area and gave out a Code Red and said, guess what, this and this and this and this are happening, and that's why these guys in spacesuits are taking stuff out of the garbage in a certain block area. We have that. We certainly have the robocall thing. There's enough.
I'm just saying, in case as a resident, I happen to have contact with that person 2 days ago, and they came down with Ebola today, so that I would know, be able to inform somebody or, whatever.
They put the name out, at least
Yeah.
the person in
The
Texas.
CDC will
I think
find
they're
you.
putting their name out.
They would
and-
too.
They'll find you.
Everybody was in contact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that for every person affected, that the CDC, I believe it is 20 or 30, they go above and beyond. They don't only take that person, they take that person's family
Yeah.
members, they take anybody who might have been.
It's like cutting out a cancer.
And
You go
I don't,
past the.
like I said, I'll talk to Chief Adams more about the particulars, but follow normal procedures such as call 911. At very least, we'll respond. Chief Carpino's guys will respond, and we'll have the initial stuff to get you taken care of, or get the citizen taken care of. But after that, I can talk to Chief Adams again too about at least on the fire end, how to notify people and how to disseminate the information once it happens.
Well, if you want to be on the point with John, and I mean, obviously Nick has the expertise and put this protocol together, that this may be something that the Loyola or whatever could adopt for your battalion. So, you know, it's not just us that are covered, but I want to be up here leading the charge. I don't want to be at the bottom being told what to do. It's like what we're doing. We need to be out on top of all of this. And I would hope that every village has the wherewithal like we are to not sit and wait on our hands until somebody else from above is going to tell us what to do. It's all about protection and how you're doing these things.
Well, one of the first things maybe is, Chief, I have no idea what you guys have in the squad cars, but making sure that you guys have good gloves, or, because, I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, okay.
Make sure everyone gets their own PPE kit.
Mm-hmm.
There's spare ones, but I'll get one for you.
Okay.
And obviously, talk to the chief or Captain Levita, we can give you guys or get whatever you guys need.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Medline was featured. They had a couple different levels of kits that they're putting together with double gloves and booties that look like they went up to your calf, and then other outfits that went. I mean, there's a regular protocol, and that they indicated on the news that was right here. Filling orders as quick as possible. I don't want to be on the, well, sorry, we don't have anything. I got to wait. I'd rather be ahead of the curve and outthink everybody else, and at least have some stuff in the game.
And I know for sure we have, obviously, just like you guys do, your initial hazmat stuff, which is your encapsulated suits, and that's a good thing to start with. And Captain Levita will be in the morning, and I'll ask him then what extra he has ordered, or what other stuff he plans on getting in.
Well, I just asked you keep Janet in the loop.
Yeah.
And
Whatever you guys need.
I don't think anybody on this board is
whatever you guys need.
opposed to what I've been talking about.
Not a problem. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop in anytime at the firehouse, and we'll be glad to help out in whatever way we can.
All right.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about our water billing department. Amy has been working really hard on bringing things back up to speed and working with residents to improve collections and getting everyone current. I've received a lot of compliments about Amy and how well she's interacting with the residents. And I also wanted to stress to all the residents that we do have the direct debit program. If anyone would like to sign up, please contact myself or Amy to fill out the application. Also, I've been in the process of preparing for the new calendar year for our issuance of business and liquor licenses. I've been working on reviewing our policies and procedures, and I will be working with staff looking for ways to improve the process and possible any efficiencies we can work on as far as collecting and getting everything done in a timely manner. And also, the audit's just about wrapped up, and we should be having that ready at the end of the month. That's all I have.
Good, and just to echo your comments, I did receive a call from a resident today that complimented not only you, but Amy on a water billing issue that we're working on, that we spoke about today. So, thank you. Thank you. Gregory.
Good evening. Fall Festival at the Fountain this Saturday. It's going to be from 1 to 8. Obviously encourage everyone to attend. We're going to have some great food out there. We've got music starting at 1:30. A lot of activities for both kids and adults to do with their kids. As I said, good food. Looks like the weather's going to hold out Thursday. It looks like it's when the rain ends, and we're going to have, might be a little chilly, about 57 for a high, but it's going to be a nice day. On another note, just recently, actually Molly started the process prior to her departure, but MuniCode was something that she was working on to update our online code book. The village a few weeks ago received the paper copies, and I've been following up with MuniCode to verify that all that information has been transmitted to the website. So I know that Jessica mentioned something about continuing that process to continue to put our codes up there. It's a very useful tool for finding things and doing searches on what the rules are in town, of course. Lastly, the collection for our drugs was a week and a half ago, and proud to say that the village, in that time frame of 4 months, had collected over 600 pounds. Wasn't able to fit any more in the car. I actually had to leave some behind so that I could make it on time. But I know the mayor came to me with a little flyer that another organization collected 100, was it 100 pounds?
125.
125 pounds, a much larger.
A mere pittance.
Correct. I'm not going to mention who they are. You could do that, but.
Yeah, it was MWRD.
Okay. But again, very, very proud that our residents are doing that. I've spoken with Brian Grippo about that, and of course, you know, being a water guy and the harm it does when you put that down the drain. So, very proud of that for our village. That's all I have.
Let's see. Melissa, our Chicago Marathon completion girl. She ran the Chicago Marathon. I think she came in like second place, right behind the
the Kenyan.
right behind the Kenyan woman. You almost kicked her butt. So
And she's still walking.
she's not hobbling. So congratulations with that feat. 26.2 miles in nice weather, but 26 miles even driving in the car is an effort. So I imagine running on foot is second time running. So either there's something really wrong with you that you need to be examined, or you're a diehard. So
Probably the first one.
Did you beat your husband? That's the question.
I did.
Yeah.
So
he, you know what?
that
He told me he
bragging
let
rights
you
in the
win.
house, which is sometimes more important than anywhere else. So I just wanted to let the board know a couple things. Sherwin-Williams opened on October 6th, so they've been open a little bit over a week now. Mariano's is on track. They're moving along. So let's see, just so that everybody knows, we received a permit application for Betty's Bistro in Westbrook Commons, so in that same shopping center down there. I would anticipate you're probably going to see their liquor license and video gaming application come before you eventually. Also, I attended the International Council of Shopping Centers. They have a deal-making event that they have every October. It's a 2-day event. Basically, retailers that are looking to expand in the region and developers that are looking to looking for new sites go to this event. And so so I was able to go to that last week. Hopefully we get some interest in some of the sites that we have here in town. Just so that everybody knows, Jewel applied for some interior remodel permits and some facade upgrades. I reviewed zoning code RFPs with the village manager and the village president in the last week or so. We received local technical assistance from CMAP, the same folks that did our comprehensive plan update. One of the recommendations out of the comprehensive plan was that we would update our zoning code. And so they chose us for local technical assistance. And so there are some planning firms in the region that responded to the RFP, so we reviewed those, and hopefully we're probably going to be doing interviews with the firms, because I think all the people that graded the proposals all came out with different rankings, so we're going to interview all the different applicants and hopefully choose one to start to move forward on that process probably in January. So So there were 2 businesses that opened last month. We had 176 permits issued, 254 inspections, and it was a monthly construction value of about $1.7 million. And that's it.
So I just wanted to add in regard to Mariano's that if anybody knows anyone who's seeking employment, Mariano's is still looking to hire quite a few people for their location here in Westchester. So they have a hiring office at Westbrook Commons. Please direct people there.
It's by appointment only. So
Okay.
you need to call, yeah.
Just one question. Thank you for the information. I know in our capability assessment with the hazard mitigation annex, we've indicated to them that we will be adopting the 2012 International Code this year and also updating the zoning code in 2014. Are those viable dates?
I believe that I just met with our code consultant, and I think that the building code update will probably be before the village board in November.
Okay.
We'll probably have it on a cal for discussion. And then the zoning code update will probably start probably in early 2015.
Right, because, I mean, we've indicated we'd have it in 2014, and I don't want to have any false information on the document, so we need to get that done as soon as possible in 2015 as well. So we're close. I don't want to be 6 months out talking about it. So.
No, absolutely. I think CMAP wants to get the process moving as quickly as possible as well.
Okay. Just if I can break in for a moment, Trustee Yurkovich just gave me a sad note that George Zanoni passed away this evening. I know all of us know George Zanoni, and his wife Carolyn preceded him in passing away. I know he got sick lately, and it was a very quick illness that took his life, apparently. So a moment of silence for George. He was the mayor of Beckett Avenue. He helped us in many ways around the village. He was very positive and an ambassador for the village of Westchester, and certainly around Christmas time, he assisted us in a number of ways. So if we take a moment for George, there are no details yet. I'm sure we'll be getting those as quickly as possible. Thank you, everybody. Robert, you're up.
All of our construction projects are proceeding forward. Slight delay with the relighting just due to the rain. They pull out on a day like today where we have thunder and lightning. So as soon as it stops raining, they'll be back out. We're still anticipating those lights going back on by the end of the month. This Thursday and Friday, they'll begin grinding on Enterprise Drive and Constitution. So they've finished most of the concrete work, and they'll peel off the top 3-4 inches of asphalt and then prepare for paving. We'd like to get that done by the end of the month as well. And you may have noticed on your way in to Village Hall, we're about 50% through with the fire alarm installation. You've probably seen all the conduit and wire and laying around Village Hall. That'll be a good safety improvement for this building to get an active alarm system in. And we've noticed a few anomalies in putting in the smoke detectors up in the ductwork that may address why the HVAC system wasn't very functional. Some of the ducts are not connected, so we'll try to get that fixed as well. So we've been pumping HVAC up into the attic space, if you will. So we'll see if those guys can hook up a few of the ducts for us as well.
It's not a surprise.
Well, and I want to piggyback on Robert's report and say that we do have a groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for Tuesday, October 28th at the Mayfair Reservoir. So please mark your calendars. I'll send specifics out as we know.
Great. Thank you. Ms. Sherby, what have you for us tonight?
Well, I just wanted to add to what Manager Matthews was saying regarding Mariano's employment. I do have some of the links for the various positions that are being, that are available, and I can forward those to you.
And we want to congratulate Sherby. She passed her certification test for her biometrics. You'll have to finish that for me.
It's a certified biometric security engineer.
So congratulations, Sherby.
Which does? Send with Ebola, maybe?
No, it's more linked toward IT security and utilization of iris recognition, fingerprint recognition for security purposes.
Oh, nice. I'm sure you could share some of that expertise with our IT director and certainly the chief. So everybody will be getting the retina scan coming in the building. Right? So. All right. Okay. I'm up. I have nothing. Looks like we have an executive session this evening. Is that the plan for everybody?
Yes.
Appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Is that what we're doing at the end of the cow? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, is there a motion, a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Nick, Tommy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned.